Welcome to BioVivacious. BioVivacious is a YouTube channel dedicated to clear fundamental concepts of biosciences and to make the subject interesting and vibrant. Today we are going to discuss about Ramachandran plot. Ramachandran plot is something which was formulated in the 1960s that has really revolutionized the understanding of protein structure. Today we will look at how to interpret a Ramachandran plot. That is going to be the main learning outcome. In order to understand a Ramachandran plot, we need to look at two things. These are our prerequisites. Our prerequisites are, we need to look at peptide bonds, and we also need to look at torsion angle, or it is also known as the dihedral angle. So these are our prerequisites. What is going to be the reference for us to understand a Ramachandran plot is, first of all, the original paper of Ramachandran Shashidharan et al., which was published in the 1960s. Secondly, we will look at certain textbooks of biochemistry. Primarily, we will look at the latest edition of Biochemistry by Matthew and Van Holt, and we shall also look at Lehninger for several aspects. We have looked at the peptide bonds elaborately in a video that was posted earlier. I request that you go through this video to understand peptide bonds. Now we shall begin our discussion of Ramachandran plot by looking at the torsion angle. Torsion, it means to twist. So we are talking about what is the angle that is created by twisting. Dihedral, from the name we should understand, di means two. If the two angles that are formed in a plane. For example, we have one plane, this is one plane, and this is another plane. Suppose we keep a paper like this and it is creating a plane. Let me draw this structure so that we will have greater clarity. This is one plane, and in the second plane okay, so here is a second plane as we have just constructed by using those papers. Now we can see that this is creating an angle. So here is an angle created, this is an angle. This angle created by two planes is equal to the dihedral angle. So torsion angle, dihedral angle is a kind of a torsion angle. There are different types of dihedral angles created in the structure of a protein. We will look elaborately at these angles. Two peptide bonds are drawn here. Here is one peptide bond and here is another peptide bond. Let us try to understand the dihedral bonds. So let us create the planes. So one plane will be formed from C alpha and to the next C alpha, and this is one plane which is formed. We have learned that why we are forming the plane, because the peptide bond it has got a partial double bond character because of the lone pair of electrons on the nitrogen which will shift the bond. This bond is shifted, so therefore it will have a partial double bond character. One plane. If the second plane is formed like this, if the second plane is also formed, so we can see that it is similar to this. Two planes have been formed around the C alpha carbon atom. Now we need to name these bonds that are formed. Now, if the peptide bond is known as the omega, this is the omega bond, this is also the omega bond. Bonds are expressed with a positive rotation. It depends on how you view the bond. Let us look at the C alpha carbon atom. From C alpha, you look at this carbonyl carbon. From here, you are looking at the carbonyl carbon. It should have a right-handed rotation, and this is the way it is, the way the thumb is showing right-handed rotation. So we show that it is rotating in this direction. That is because you are looking from this perspective. This bond that exists between C alpha to carbonyl C is denoted by this symbol. This is known as the psi bond. Now look at the other bond, this bond on the other plane. So look from the C alpha, we are looking in this direction, in positive rotation. This is the way it will rotate. So therefore, it is rotating in this way. This is known as the phi rotation, denoted by this symbol. So that is phi, the psi and the omega bond. So these are the three types of dihedral bond or angles that we are coming across. Apart from this, some of the amino acids will have something called a Gaucher angle, which is normally seen in the R group of the amino acids. The R group of the amino acid, if it has got a very long side chain, that can have the Gaucher angle also. See, these are the type of angles, dihedral angles, that you will find in a protein. Having understood this, this becomes the fundamental concept in order to understand the Ramachandran plot. Let us look at which are the torsion angle that are possible in these two planes. So we need to understand that this omega has a partial double bond characteristics. This also has a partial double bond characteristics. So therefore, around omega, rotation is not possible. Whereas this phi bond as well as the psi bond it's a single bond. When it is a single bond, rotation is possible. Assume these are the two planes. Now this is able to rotate. This is able to rotate, and this also is able to rotate. So both the planes are able to rotate in the positive direction, and we shall look at which all are the possible rotations possible. So look at, let us number these as 1, 2, 3, 1, this is 2, it's not 2, 3 and 4. Let us consider this. And let us see, when we are looking at this carbon atom, then this plane from the C alpha, and what we are going to do is, we will look at this in this manner. When we look at that way, if the carbon number 2, and this is carbon number 2, and if the third atom number 3, which is exactly parallel to our eyes, so therefore it is getting superimposed. 2 and 3 are getting superimposed. Okay, then you will see that carbon number 1, that is slightly up. This is carbon number 1. Okay, it is up, and this carbon number 4, which is totally on the opposite side, that is at the 4th place. This is one possible rotation, and the same thing you can see here also. If this is 4, 3, 2, 1, you will see that these are on the same plane, 2 and 3. These two are like 1 and 4. So the angle it takes is about 180 degree. the angle is 180 degree. It's the second possibility, and remember that this 180 degree angle is possible for, right now it is possible for the psi, what we have shown is phi is shown as 180, our psi is also right now it is 180 degree. We have learned that there are two possibilities for peptide bonds. One is a trans conformation. Trans conformation means if the R groups here, if this is the R group, okay, let me put this is the R group. Now in the next C alpha, the R group will be here. That means both the R groups will be on either side of the peptide bond. In that case, we call it a trans double bond. In protein, it exists in the trans conformation. If the next possibility is a cis peptide bond. What happens if it is a cis peptide bond? Here we are trying to draw two peptide bonds. Here is one peptide bond and here is another peptide bond. So let us draw the plane. This is going to be one plane. You can see that one plane. In the second plane between this C alpha and this C alpha, here, okay, you see if both the planes have come together, they have come together like a flat structure. It also shows that this hydrogen and this oxygen of the carbonyl carbon, they have come so close together. When they come so close together, in the atomic radii of the oxygen and the hydrogen will not allow to come together. Because of the van der Waals interactions, there is going to be an attraction, there is going to be a repulsion that will allow these two atoms to come only up to certain distance. So therefore, it may not be possible to arrange them in this conformation. That means if the rotation around this C alpha, its phi is equal to 0, psi is also equal to 0 in this particular kind of arrangement. So what are we learning from all this? In the case of omega bond, there are two possibilities. In the case of omega bond, there are two possibilities. If the two possibilities are, it can have two bonds. One is omega, it can have a zero bond. That is when it is a cis conformation. Or it can have a 180 degree, that is in the case of a trans conformation. But both these bonds are fixed. You cannot rotate them because it has a partial double bond character. Whereas in the case of phi as well as psi bond, there is a possibility of rotating about 0 to 180 degree. So this aspect we will be using in order to understand a Ramachandran plot. What are some of the significances of knowing these dihedral angles? It will help us to predict the structure of a protein. We begin to understand that there is a greater flexibility possible in a protein, and protein structure can be predicted by knowing these bond angles. So these are the advantages of knowing about torsion angle. Let us look at Ramachandran plot. It is talking about the rotation around C alpha. If this is C alpha, we are talking about this is the plane of the peptide bond. So this bond is, we can rotate it. So this we can rotate. This is 180 degree, one rotation, and it can also rotate another 180 degree, a total of 360 degree. So therefore, if we are rotating from here, this will be plus 180. Whatever we count, that is in the counterclockwise, that will be another 180, that is denoted in minus sign. So therefore there is a plus 180 and another minus 180. Now these two are, and both are possible for phi as well as the psi bond. These are represented on the plane of a paper. So if you consider this is the plane of a paper and two axes, one is the x-axis, another one is the y-axis. What we do is we divide this way, and this is the phi bond, that is between the N to the C alpha. This is the psi bond, that is between C alpha to the C carbonyl carbon. It starts from 0, and this side will be minus 180 and this will be plus 180. Similarly, this will be plus 180. So this is how it is arranged. This will be, it is divided into 4 quadrants, 1, 2, 3 and 4 quadrant. What are the values that will come? Values means immediately you associate around the C alpha how much it can rotate. Around the C alpha, if this is the way, how much it can rotate. Is it 180 plus 180, or is it in the minus, let's say 50, 60, etc. So that value, how much it can rotate, we will be using it in order to draw the Ramachandran plot. If the rotation of that, these two planes, the rotation of the two planes depends on the R group. If it has a bulky R group, there will be steric hindrances. So it will not allow the plane to rotate beyond a certain level. That for every amino acid it is detected through X-ray crystallographic studies. If you look at the new X-ray, the new Ramachandran plot which are devised based on software, you will see that they are much more accurate and it will give a broad range. Now, for example, we will come to that. Let us look at what kind of values can be placed here. So, in this case, it is very clear that the psi has to be, it has to have a positive value, and the phi has to be, it has to be a negative value because it is negative. Similarly here, psi will be a positive value, and phi will be again a positive value. This is a positive value. Here, phi will be a positive value and psi will be a negative value. It's a negative value. Whereas in this case, psi will be a negative value and phi is also a negative value. It is very important, especially when we are solving questions based on Ramachandran plot. If you are given a value, you should be able to predict and say that it will fall under this particular place. Now, for example, let us say that, okay, now every amino acid in the X-ray crystallographic studies, it will show either bond angle, either phi as well as either psi bond angle. Assume that one amino acid is giving a phi and the psi bond. The phi bond is, let's say, minus 57. Now you should understand what is the meaning of minus 57. How it is rotating so that it can rotate and fall till minus 57. And if the psi is, let us assume, minus 47. Where do we represent this data? So psi is minus 57, this is 180, this is 90. So somewhere here, this is 57. And psi is 47. So this is 47, can be assumed it is here. So therefore, this is the point spot which we are referring to. So when we get a value like this, there will be a dot placed. An amino acid will make one such mark in a Ramachandran plot. Using X-ray crystallographic studies, you can have very high resolution pictures, and in the following table which I will draw here, this following table can help us to understand what is going to be in the nature of alpha helical structure, in the beta pleated structure, and as well as in the pi helical structure, etc., or 3-10 helix, etc. Let us look at the allowed angle for in the Ramachandran plot. Now this is a very cryptic table prepared. This is based on Protein Science, an article published by Hollingsworth et al. In Protein Science. This will give you a kind of a range. So these are the kind of data which is used modern day in preparing the Ramachandran plot. You can see that in the phi value and the psi value for each of these forms which are found in the protein secondary structure, what are the values? You will also find in certain books the median value which is used for drawing this, but this will give you a kind of a broad range. How do we interpret this? Any amino acid, the angle, the total angle that creates by the plane, if it's fit into this, and then it is able to form an alpha helical structure. Now for example, let us look at the phi angle of alpha helix, that is between -70 to -60. So you can see that this is the phi angle -60 to -70. It may be somewhere around this region, and if the psi angle should be -50 to -40. So -52. So therefore this is the region where alpha helical structure will be formed. That is, there will be the right-handed alpha helical structure will be formed here. Let us look at the beta strand. We have not made a distinction between the parallel and the anti-parallel. So if you look at the beta strand, generally they are formed from the phi angle of -100 to -150. So therefore -100 to -150, it is around this region. This much is covered, and the psi angle is +122 plus 160 plus 122 plus 160. This is the region. So therefore we have this region that is devoted for in the beta strand. In that, if you look very closely, this region is for the anti-parallel and this is for the parallel beta strand. That is because, as we have seen, around the alpha carbon, C alpha, is the rotation. Which are the rotations possible without getting into steric hindrance from the R group of the amino acid? If it is a bulky R group, it will allow less of rotation. If it is a simple R group, it will allow greater rotation possible, and that can help in forming either alpha helical structure or the beta pleated structure. Similarly, you will find either polyproline pi structure is forming here, and in the left-handed helix, this is the place for the left-handed helix. Now also see that there is a small stretch that is shown here. What is this small stretch? That is nothing but the extension of this region. The extension of this region is shown here as the small stretch. If you look at, therefore, if you look at the Ramachandran plot, you will see three regions. Which are the three regions? This region is known as the most favorable region. This is the first region, that's the most favorable region. You can see that this is the most favorable region for an alpha helical structure. Most favorable region. There will not be any steric hindrance by the R groups at all. Then you have a second region that is around this. That is the allowed region. Allowed region. What is the meaning of allowed region? It means that with the twisting, it is possible that the dihedral angle can be formed. Okay, so there is a possibility for certain amino acid in certain combination, it is possible, that is known as the allowed region. If you have looked at the previous table, you will get an idea if the allowed region for each of these angles is explained. And the third region in a Ramachandran plot is the not allowed or disallowed region. Disallowed region. So disallowed regions are nothing but entire black with the white region. The entire white region that you see, that this region, all these white regions are the disallowed region. What we have done is we have grouped the value of phi and the psi into allowed region as well as into not allowed region. That is what we have done in a Ramachandran plot. The Ramachandran plot of almost all amino acids will be the same except two amino acids. The two amino acids are, one is glycine, another one is proline. These two amino acids are very peculiar. If you look at glycine, glycine has an R group, so therefore see alpha, the R group is nothing but a hydrogen, and you can imagine that the hydrogen will occupy a minimum space, which means around the alpha carbon atom, in the rotation, it can have all kinds of conformation possible in the case of a polyglycine ring structure. So you will see that when you look into a book, look at the Ramachandran plot of a polyglycine. So in the glycine will give all kinds of scattering in a Ramachandran plot. That is simply because if the R group is so small and it will have minimum steric hindrance possible. Now the contrary to that, you have a proline. If you look at the structure of proline, you know that, let me draw the structure of proline. This is C alpha. So this is the structure of proline. You can see that this is going to be the phi bond. The psi bond. Now this psi bond, there will be rotation permissible around the psi bond. Whereas when it comes to the phi bond, you see rotation is not permissible. It's minimum. And the rotation that is permissible around this is about minus 65 degree. So that is the rotation permissible. So therefore this will create problem when you look at the Ramachandran plot of a proline, polyproline, you will see that it is located in the density, the cloud is located only at two places. Look at a textbook to see these Ramachandran plot of proline as well as glycine, and look at other amino acids like alanine, or look at the Ramachandran plot of collagen in order to do a kind of a comparison. These are points that you need to note down.